Greetings and welcome back, kindred spirits. And if there's anyone new who would like to view, I welcome you too. Okay, so I know I am posting this late, but bear with me. I'm still human. I do not claim to be perfect. So, today let's talk about breaking the spell. And I am not saying I'm going to do some kind of magic to break the spell for you. Because my interpretation of breaking the spell is being able to recognize patterns within yourself, behaviors within yourself, and being ready to break them or release them, stop them, quit them, whether they're addictions, and not just patterns and behaviors within yourself, but yet being able to recognize the lies, deceptions that goes on around you. And in order to do so, you must also be able to recognize how these lies and deceptions have influenced and programmed your life. And the only way to know that these things have been an influence on your life is now you're beginning to feel like something needs to change. You're ready to be your true self, aka your authentic self. That self that you have kept hidden. And you're beginning to experience signs and symptoms that it is time for a change. What are those signs and symptoms? Only you know. Because those signs and symptoms are signs that's making you feel uncomfortable with how you've lived your life. And it doesn't matter your age. I say that love thyself. And the biggest sin is when you go against loving thyself. Because the source that you may call God, Allah, Buddha, Krishna, Jehovah, is within you. You are an extension of that source. You are a part of the whole. And you cannot add to or take away from that whole because you're a part of it. How can you stand outside of the whole when you're already in there? So to make that connection with yourself, you have to recognize that it is time for change. It doesn't matter what age you are, I say again to you. It's better to start now than to regret later never getting started. I like that. I like that saying. Who said that? I did. I said it now. I don't know who said it before me, but it sounded good to my soul, and it made sense. So let's get started. Okay. Take a deep breath. Stretch. We're about to get started, people. And I do these stretches almost every day. Well, just about every day. We might as well say every day. So, anywho, let's talk about holistic, because I describe my services as a holistic healing life coaching service. A lot of people who don't understand what holistic is might take it to mean something holy. And it is. It doesn't mean that. But everything around you is holy. All of nature, including you, you're holy. So don't think you're more special than the next person, but you are more special to you. Oh yes, I'm special. And don't take offense because I say I'm special. You got to have that same thought pattern about yourself. Okay? So, holistic is seeing the big picture. All right? It is also examining the whole of you, which includes your mental state, your emotional state, your physical state, as well as your spiritual state. That's the whole, the complete. That which completes you. Okay? So I spoke on, well, I didn't speak on, let me get it right, because, you know, I don't want you to perceive, even though this information I'm giving to you, you're processing it in your thoughts. All right? And as you process it, you come up with your own interpretation and express it differently. So if you have a question about what I speak on, from what you perceive, because I know how I express myself may not be how you may perceive it. So it's always best to question it to get a full, clear understanding for yourself. Okay? All right. Now, I like to take a psychological approach that involves analyzing strategies used by those or used by others who have done research, as well as strategies and approaches utilized from my experience and my own research, and applying them to reach a goal. I'm sorry, I keep looking this way, so pay me no mind. I do get a little distracted because I'm at home, so I do constantly look this way. And from time to time, I am going to look at my notes just to keep up with what I want to discuss in a certain order. So I just tend to look at my notes and pay attention to what's going on in my environment as well. Okay? All right. Okay, so I'm not going to put all of the detailed information here in this video about breaking the spell. So if you want further information and would like to book an appointment with me, then you can email me. So I will try to remember to put my email in this video so you may contact me. Okay? Are we okay with that? All right, great. So what I utilize to assist in breaking the spell is I like to utilize your thoughts, language, and patterns of behavior learned through your experiences to specific outcomes, okay? Excuse me. Pause for a minute to get a sip of water. So, of course, I utilize certain techniques to go about doing this. But what I'm going to speak on generally to you is to help you understand the importance when you're ready of breaking your spell. Okay? And we've all been endowed with a spell, some kind of way. Whoever raised us and whatever other influences we had in our environment and programming. Some of us don't realize it, that we've been programmed. We've had influences. It's not until you really realize, and sometimes it takes getting up in age to realize that you have not lived your life fully the way you wanted to. We in school, when we go to the schools or these institutions, we're being programmed on how we should conduct ourselves. But as we're being programmed to conduct ourselves, think about it. When you're in school and you want to do certain things and you want to take a break and go about your day and do as you want to do while at school, of course, they have created rules and regulations. So you can't really be yourself. You have to conduct yourself. Sit straight, Anita. Stop staring out the window, Anita. Stop picking your nose, Anita. Pay attention to the teacher, Anita. Stop talking to the person next to you, Anita. Give me that cheat sheet that your friend gave to you, Anita. And isn't it interesting that you're taught in school not to cheat? And they call it cheating, when really it's called team building, when you and your friends share answers. What did you come up with, Billy? What about you, Teresa? How about you, Phil? You, Laquita? That's team building, working as a team. You're allowed to do it in a job, career situation, but you're not allowed to do it in school. Now, I'm not saying sending your child to school is bad, but truly understand what your child is going through. And I'm not telling you to take your child out of school. What I'm saying is, when you understand what your child is going through, you can better explain to them not to feel bad, and have some kind of conversation with the teacher on what your child is being taught at home. So the teacher will have some kind of understanding, and that way you can see if the teacher is open and willing to cooperate with your child's learning process. Because as a teacher, you got to really understand the student. You have to have walked in the shoes of the student to know. It's just like the parent. You've been to school, so you kind of understand what it's like being amongst your peers, being in an institution where they have rules and regulations. So, of course, you got to teach your child about the rules and regulations of school. But also, too, you got to also explain to your child, because that child got to understand, they got to be able to have space to be themselves, to be their authentic self, to not hurt that authenticity within them. So you do have a choice. Of course, they have private schools and then they have home schools. But in this day and age, for a lot of parents, it is hard to do that, to homeschool your child. And private school could be very expensive. So, a lot of the grooming starts at home. That's why you have to be involved in your child's learning process. Okay? Because it does start when we're young. So understand that in order to break the spell, you got to travel back in time to where it all started. You got to do a lot of introspection and retrospection in detail. You can probably see the big picture, but you got to also, pick and pry at the details. You got to splice and dice. And you got to do it with compassion and care and love, without blaming yourself and others. Because you got to remember, we're all here in this school called Earth, in this laboratory called Earth. It's a school and a laboratory. So you got to be a professor and a scientist, a student and the experiment. Okay? Yes. Get that in your head. This is a big giant laboratory. You look, all these different kinds of species. The trees, the flowers, the ants, the animals, the fish, and the different types of fish in the sea, in the oceans, the lakes, all kinds of organisms. You even got all kinds of organisms living in and on you. But some of us don't even realize that we should be pricking and prying within ourselves. We're so busy, so engrossed in what's going on around us. Trying to fit in. Yes, I was one of those. I recognized I was really different. I just wanted to be me. But I figured the only way to make friends, I had to try to fit in. And I still did not do that well. And then I had to wake up one day and just realize, you know what? I remember when I was a child, I used to play by myself, get my little toys and stuff, create little toys out of stuff that was laying around the house, and play with them and just enjoy being with me. And a lot of us, we have been programmed and influenced to be afraid to be alone. Being alone doesn't mean being lonely, even though sometimes that can happen. But then, even being lonely, you get a chance to come out of that. But you have to, let's say, challenge yourself. When loneliness comes, find something else to do instead of feel like you got to have someone. Unless you're a twin, you was in your mom's womb alone. But yet, when you came out the womb, you came out one by one. And when you die, a lot of us die alone. And I don't mean alone meaning in your house alone, because, sometimes, there's groups of people. So, sometimes there are situations where people die at the same time. Some people say you come in this world alone, you're going to die alone. No, not everybody come in this world alone, because, you got to have someone to pull you out. Your mom is right there. I mean, let's keep it real. Yeah, I'm not alone. Didn't I come out my mama? And I wasn't really alone, because when I was in my mama, I was in my mama. I was with her. I wasn't alone. She was there. And when I die, even if I'm in a house alone, that's alone. But, if you die in a situation where there's lots of people around you, then you're really not dying alone. There's people around you. Oh, Good. That was some folks. Okay. A lot of you do not like to talk about death, but it is a part of life. You know, it is. We got to get over it. Get over that factor and that hump. That death is a bad thing. It's a graduation. Because at some point, you got to up and go. You can't stay here in school. You want to stay kept back in school. Well, some people, they're afraid to get out into the working world to try something different. So they on purposely act a fool in school and don't do the work just so they can stay in school. So much has changed, and so much will continue to change. And at some point in your life, if you have not been taught this, you have to learn to accept change. You're going to change. I'm getting little gray hairs. Yeah, they're coming out. And I'm going to tell you, of course, I really didn't mind having gray hair because I was like, oh, I know so many times I thought about dyeing my hair, and I've even tried dyeing my hair when I was young, but I always tried to dye my hair like a blue. Growing up I had jet black hair. So I will always put this blue in, so when the sun hit, it'd be a blue, but in the dark, you still think I have jet black hair. But now that I'm getting gray hair, I was like, oh, I'm getting a new dye to my hair naturally. Yes, fine, I'm finna sport another color. Okay, well, see, that's how I see it. A lot of people don't like it. But let me tell you something. When you get your gray hair and you try to put all these other colors in it and you messing up your gray, you messing up. You can't have that silver and gray. There's a lot of young people who's dyeing their hair silver or gray or white. A lot of people don't want to call it gray. Call it silver. Yes. Thank you, Anita, for reminding me not to call it gray. Call it silver. You know what I'm saying? It's right there next to gold. So, okay, I did say I was going to talk about breaking the spell. But this is a part of breaking the spell. Because what I'm trying to do is what I do, how I analyze, is to get you to see things differently from how you've seen it before. We look at the devil as bad. Why are we looking at him bad? He's just doing his job. If God created everything, so you say, for those who believe in God, okay, because not everybody believes in God, or Allah, or Buddha, Krishna, Jehovah, however you believe. If God created everything, then he created the devil too. So then you have to ask yourself, well, what is the devil's purpose? So if you're constantly looking outside of yourself as if you are so pure as the driven snow. Now, let me see that word, driven snow. You have to think about everything that you say and use, these metaphors and colloquialisms. You have to look at everything that has been taught to you and break it down for you to understand, is that for you? Is this for me? Now I can see things differently. So understand that the good angel on one side, because this is my right side, so I know y'all looking at me and you was like, hold on, that's the wrong side. No, this is my right side. So you have a good angel over here, and then you have a devil over here. And notice, in certain cartoons or what have you, for those who don't know, okay, or who can't remember these kind of cartoons showing an angel on one side that pops up on one side, and they purposely do these in these commercials or cartoons or movies to show you that there is a positive and negative energy, but it's not on your shoulders. It's within you. You have a right side and you have a left side. And those energies exist within and around you as positive, negative, masculine, feminine, yin, yang. So if those energies are a part of you and you were given the ability to exercise will, will says, or let's say, the process of will is to be able to decide right from wrong, positive from negative, good from evil. Now, how do you balance those energies? How do you come to not see those energies as bad? Because when you go to the extreme, either way, it's not good for you because you're imbalanced. So it is about living in harmony, neutralizing these energies. How do you do that? Now, if you know how to do these things on your own, I salute you. Did I do that right? And you go ahead with your bad self. But if you need assistance, then you find someone that you're comfortable with to assist you. And notice I didn't say email me, because I'm not sitting here saying that I can do it all, know it all. Because if you have a question for me and I know I don't have the answer to, I'm going to say, let me get back with you on that. Because what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go research and find it out. If I've had the experience, I'm going to say, give me a minute, because I probably need some time to sleep on it and think it over. Like, have I ever had this experience? And something like, oh, yeah, I remember. How did I handle it? How am I handling it? And don't think because I come on here smiling every time in the video that my life is perfect. I don't have the perfect life, and it's not about having the perfect life. He was like, Anita, what the heck are you talking about? It's not about being perfect. Aren't we trying to perfect ourselves? Yes, we're trying to perfect ourselves. But who on earth do you know that is perfect? So the idea is, if you say, well, the trees are perfect, the birds are perfect, then just know that you've been created perfect. Stop denying the perfection that you've already been born into, which is you. And with that perfection, there's going to be some days of imperfection, some failures, mistakes. Another way of understanding breaking the spell is about acceptance. Because if you were already born perfect with some imperfections, and when I say some imperfections, those imperfections come with understanding your environment, because you have to learn about this environment and how to live in it. And the way to live in this environment is understanding you and how you want to live in it. So this is how you're imperfect, because you're being taught things instead of being allowed to give input on what you're being taught and what's being forced on you. And it's okay to be taught things, but if it's being forced, then that's where the problem comes in at. But yet, just like there's laws of the universe on a different level, there's laws for men and women and children. I know it sounds confusing. Trust, I was confused myself. And I still get confused sometimes. But understand that word confusion. Confusion. Look up the word con. To go against. The fusion. So there's nothing wrong with fusion because we have natural energies that we, like I stated, positive and negative energies, masculine and feminine energies. Those are energies. Those energies are constantly or every day consistently being fused. Those, the fusions of your energies. And you go against those energies. So now maybe we should stop saying, I'm confused. Because if you are confused, sometimes we do get confused. We go against our energies because we can't decide which way to go. Then if you can't decide, stop. Be still. This is the time to meditate. To be still in those energies when you feel confused. Don't move. Don't act. Take a day off. Take a couple of days off. Just tell who you work with, say, look, I'm having some mental illness problems. I don't go see a doctor, but I know right now I am not mentally capable to work this week. And if people aren't okay with that, then you're in the wrong place of employment. But I understand that you have to pay your bills, pay your rent. You got to survive. So you might just be like, well, shoot, then I might have to take me 10, 15-minute breaks throughout this day. You ain't going to let me off. I'm going to have to take some breaks. But I'm going to be cordial about it because I know y'all need this work done. But, you know, I told you I'm having some mental issues. And if you're not going to give me a day off or 2 days, 3 days off, I'm going to make sure I take some breaks when I need to take a break. I got to go outside and breathe some oxygen and give them trees some of my carbon dioxide. You feel me? That just made me forget what I was going to say next. Hey, it's okay. I'm human. I'm human. I'm not the Almighty God. I'm having a human experience constantly every day that I'm here. And a lot of people say, you know, be grateful and thankful you woke up. Oh yes, I'm grateful and thankful I woke up because that means I still get a chance to learn what I need to learn here and to give back and offer to the world, my community, myself, growth, new growth and development. You can't have pain without love, and you can't have love without pain. You're positive in your negatives, or you're positive in your negatives. And I just heard today, I was listening to this astrologer, Nadia Shaw. I like her. Shout outs to you, Nadia Shaw. And I've been noticing this around me where the universe is giving me these signs and synchronicities of coming into harmony with myself, neutralizing my energies. Now, just know, this is what Nadia was saying, and she got it from somewhere else too. I think someone else mentioned it too, a psychologist, and I don't even know his name, but I didn't remember his name. I was just engrossed in Nadia's words. But just know that sometimes when you go out seeking to be at your highest high, just know somewhere to balance out your day, your week, your month, your year, you're going to have to experience your lowest low. So if you're always seeking to find that great high, just know that the universe, your energies from within you, your karma, your own karma, or let me not say karma because some people don't know what karma is. But just know that your own judgment is going to balance it out for you. Oh, so you done got so high, you done had your best experience ever. Now let's give you your lowest experience ever. You write your own book of life. Your destiny is what you prepare yourself for today. So if you want to break the spell that you're under, if you think you're under a spell, and when I say under a spell, remember I am saying, if you feel uncomfortable with your life and you haven't been living your true self, then you're under a spell. You've been living behind a mask, in a costume. It is not you. This is not me. Well, this is me. And if there's some more things I need to learn about me, I'm going to do that. I am so grateful and thankful that I am who I am. I love who I am. And I'm sharing that love with you. Notice I did it with both hands so I can send you harmony. And I know there's probably some things I haven't even expressed in this video that you might have questions on. Please question me. And for those of you, when whoever asks the question and you have an answer, answer them. We're all here. We're working as a team. So don't look at me as I have all the answers. Let's do this as a community. Let's team up and help each other. Each one teach one. Each scientist conduct your experiment. Experiment on yourself. Be grateful. Be thankful that you still have life in you, no matter what the number you say you've been here, you still have a chance to make a change, to start again. So you can say, I don't regret what I've done. Don't regret not starting new. Come on now. Bring out that authentic you. Do you know how old I am? Well, let me tell you how old I am. I have 5 adult children and about 5 or 6 grandchildren. I've lived that long. And if you think I'm lying, I'm going to just say this to you. Just because the number of years get greater for you being here on this planet, it's all about taking care of you, loving on you. We say we in love with someone else or something else or some kind of being, that we put all our energy into them. Do you know I put so much energy into loving me, sometimes I get tired. I'm like, dang, Anita, you dang. All this work, so you trying to put you, and you neglecting yourself? Child, help you. And notice I didn't say Lord, help you. Because you calling on something and don't even realize that you are that energy at the end of your arm that has to put that into you. You might pray. And it's not for those who disbelieve, who don't think, you don't have any spirit guide. Some people, we need to pretend like, okay, we got a spirit guide, some kind of energy around us. If you want to believe that. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm just saying, be your authentic self and accept the reality that you got to put in the work. That haven't you heard that saying? God only helps those who help themselves. And if God is within you, because it did say in your Bible, for those Christians who believe that God blew of self into man and woman and they became a living soul. So the only reason why you are living in this human form is because you have the essence of greatness within you. Exercise that greatness. And again, as I was saying, just because you go up in age don't mean you have to get all old and rugged and rough and all carried away. If you're going to get carried away with taking care of yourself. Stop neglecting yourself and love yourself. What you put in you is what you're going to see that comes out. And it also starts with the mind. So put greatness in your mind. When you find yourself saying negative things about you, you're casting a spell. Because what do they tell you when you want to form a word? Spell it out. So what you speak into existence, you want to work some magic? Watch what you say about yourself. Watch what you think about yourself. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I slip up. I'll be like, I'm tired. Oh, no, I'm not tired. But at some point, it's time to rest. Okay, Anita, it's time to rest. Whew, I put in a good day's work. And again, I'm going to tell you, I'm just as normal as you. I'm no superhero. I'm not your superhero. I'm my own superhero. So if I'm going to save the world, it's going to be my world first. I got to take the needle out my own eye first before I can take it out yours. Well, I'm going to leave a needle stuck in my eye. You asked me to take the needle out your eye. And I still got one stuck in my eye. Come on now. Let's make sense. It's all about making sense of your life. And I'm not saying this to those people who was brought up with abuse. Well, shoot, I feel good and I can express my anger and go beat the heck out of my wife or my husband. No, boo. Slow down. Come back. Because sometimes we go through these situations to come out on top, to be better. I was beat. Yeah, and I used to beat my children. I'm not saying that was a good thing, but I was beat as a form of discipline. I wasn't beat to be killed, but that's what we were taught. My ancestors, some of my ancestors here before the ancient ancestors, and in between my ancient ancestors and me, they were slaves and they were beaten and they were taught. That's how you discipline. So I'm not saying hate on me because these were the things that I was taught, but I don't do those things no more. Because when I realized this is not the way to do it, this is not the way to mother, because that's not how I know I was beat, but I was like, I didn't know what else to do. How else to discipline my children. And it hurt me every time. And even to express my anger. So I learned that I can express my anger differently. And when I say abuse, a lot of black people, this is how they think. And I know some white people, some Asians, some Indians might think this way too. But shoot, that is the right way to discipline your child. Beat their behinds when they don't do right. But to each their own. But if as an adult you don't want to be beat, then stop beating or stop whipping, spanking, whatever, however you call it. I know I'm saying beat. So don't get the word beat with I'm taking sticks and stones and my fists. No. So we all here to learn, people. Why are we constantly judging? Judge not, for you shall be judged yourself. Remember, when you judge another for what they do, you're only judging it because it's in you or something you've seen before. And if just because you don't like it doesn't mean that it's wrong for another. And I'm not saying that it's wrong for another to be beat. I mean, that it's right for another to be beaten or spanked or something like that, because I'm still alive. I was just whipped enough or spanked enough to get it right. To know, they say it was done out of love. So you got to understand people's concept and why they do things, and stop being so quick to judge people and try to understand them. And why are we so busy jumping over into other people's homes and stuff? Of course we care because, I know you want to say, Anita, you're contradicting yourself. No. It depends on the situation and the understanding of situations. Just because you perceive it doesn't mean it's going to be expressed the same way you are expressing it. That's why I say some things you have to accept. You can't change. You can't change another. Focus on correcting you, doing you, before you talk mess about somebody else. You might say, oh, that person is ugly. If there's somebody that I don't like physically, I'm not going to call them ugly. I'm just going to say I'm not attracted to them. Plain point blank. I'm not attracted to you. Oh, you think I'm ugly? See what I'm saying? How some people perceive and express what they are hearing and seeing. Patterns, thoughts, behaviors, your experiences. It's not everybody else's. Thoughts, patterns, behaviors, and experience. All right, good people. I've talked enough for today. So much I would like to say. And I'm not here giving y'all a class. I'm just sharing some information. So you think that's all of it? Do you think I did a lot of my healing in one day? In 2 days? In 1 week? Some people it can happen that way. But for me, no, it didn't happen that way. But if it can happen for you in 1 day, 1 video, 1 sitting, to get it, dang it, I salute you. I'm not jealous, but I'm like, ugh. You make me want to work harder. You do. Dang, I got to work hard on me. I'm not trying to be you, though. I'm trying to be the best of me. Thanks again, kindred spirits, for coming and sitting down with me. And if you're not sitting, you're working out, walking, or whatever, driving. But thank you for hearing me out. We all deserve an ear. This is Anita, the healer, tuning out. And just remember, I'm not here to heal you just because healer is in my name. I'm trying to get you to see you are a healer too. And there's nothing wrong with that name. Peace.